Hi, and welcome to Smart Start's TA Leader Series, where we have the privilege of talking to some of the best people in the industry to hear what they're doing, what questions they're asking, and what they're seeing coming down the road. Today, I'm thrilled to have Andrea join us. Andrea, would you introduce us for the audience, please?
Hi, absolutely. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Andrea Barre. I am a Vice President at Agile One Workforce Solutions. I'm the Executive Leader of our RPO, or Recruitment Process Outsourcing
Yeah.
Division.
And these are interesting times for everyone, RPO, included, because all the changes with AI, all of the uncertainty in the economy. What do you see as the biggest really challenge for TA leaders right now?
I say all the time that uncertain economy or unpredictable is kind of my least favorite word right now, and I've been hearing it for 5 years. TA leaders are facing unpredictable hiring demands, economic pressures, skills gaps, and I find internal TA teams are often under-resourced, underfunded, and burnt out. We're hearing a lot about burnout in general in corporate America. I think TA leaders know that probably is pretty heavily experienced by their teams.
Right. And we're seeing a lot of organizations that think they're just going to use AI to replace their recruiters and cut their costs, and everything's going to be fine. Have you seen that model work anywhere?
I have not seen that model work. What I have seen work is, at Agile One, we talk a lot about keeping the human in the loop. The idea of bringing any technology in is to supercharge the human. And I think in TA, RPO in particular, but in TA, AI is not new to us. We've been using tools and technologies. Gen AI is a little bit new to everyone, but we've been using AI in our processes for a very long time. We try to drive efficiencies wherever we can, but not to replace the human. The idea of bringing in these technologies is so that our team members can spend more time being human, so that they can spend more time with the candidates and with the hiring manager. So no, I have not seen it work. What I have seen work is using the tools to drive efficiencies and optimization so you can spend more time being human.
And the other trend we're seeing is in part because candidates are now enabled with AI and able to apply to 1,000 jobs a day or more, that employers are saying, I have more than enough candidates.
Mhm.
I don't need to be worried about candidate experience anymore. Is
Yeah,
uh, thoughts?
I disagree that we don't need to be concerned about candidate experience. We're seeing that, and I think for TA leaders and TA teams, that one of the hardest things that we're doing or going through right now is how do we get through the minutia? How do we make sure that the candidates that we really want to talk to, we are talking to, and that everyone else has a decent experience. Right now, with the job support that came out last month, I'm hearing employers be like, well, a year ago we had 6 or 7 jobs for every unemployed worker. And so it was a tougher candidate market. We needed to really give these great experiences. But now we can be a little more picky, or we can kind of treat them how we want. This is the time that we really need to dig in and make sure that we are still giving a good candidate experience. Making sure we have faster responses, consistent branding, smoother processes, because this will make the name for ourselves later on. And I really feel that a lot, that this is not the time to take our foot off the gas when it comes to candidate experience.
Right. And as you've said, we've been through so many cycles. We understand that this is a cycle, and there's going to be another one where candidates are going to be in high demand, and your reputation out there, you don't necessarily get to change overnight. So let's just talk about the TA leaders that are using RPO well. We know some people go entirely RPO, some people do hybrid. Where do you see people who are really thoughtful and strategic using RPO well?
I think when RPO is brought in as a partner, so often when we first start some RPO conversations, it's the idea that RPO is just outsourcing to save money, or RPO is kind of like we're compared to a temp agency. RPO is there to help enhance the TA function long term, and to do that, we have to be truly partners. RPOs go out and present themselves as an organization, and you want to make sure that they're presenting you correctly, right? And truly a strategic transformation. So it can't be just a handoff or a treatment of, like, just here, take this over, or not a connection. When RPOs work the best is when the TA leaders and the RPO leaders are truly partners, and they're driving towards the organ or our clients or the organization's goals. That's where I see it work the best. That we're constantly looking at innovation, there's continuous improvement, that we're looking at the candidate experience, the hiring manager experience, not just SLAs and KPIs, although they are important, but truly, are we transforming and continuing to optimize the TA process and operations?
And what are the catalysts that cause a TA leader to pick up the phone and say, we need to consider RPO, we need to, bring this into the mix?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest reasons clients choose RPO is flexibility, right? We can spin up a team quickly, and then we can scale back without the pain of layoffs. So we provide an elasticity that TA leaders can't achieve on their own. We also find that customers who have a difficult time kind of implementing some technologies or data analytics or predictive analytics on their own come to us because we already have those in place. And so they get some visibility and transparency into what's going on in their organization that they don't have on their own. But the number one piece is that scalability and agility. It allows them to oftentimes keep a core TA team. Sometimes we replace the whole team, but a consistent experience without the pain of scaling up and scaling down. We do that for you.
And given the number of HR tech platforms out there and the expense of some of them,
Yeah.
you guys bring not every organization needs to invest in all of them. And you can certainly help with that. Wow, wonderful. I'm sure it's an interesting market. There's a lot going on. Some of it keeps us up at night. Some of
Probably more than some.
Yeah, but it definitely provides challenge. And I could talk to you about this all day. But it's just in respect for our listeners' time, we like to keep these short. So, Andrea, is it all right if people reach out to you? Are you responsive if people reach out to LinkedIn if they want to follow up with more conversation?
Yeah, LinkedIn would be great.
Great, wonderful. Thank you. Really appreciate your thoughts. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.